All right, Travis, also Wisconsin. Yeah. How do I value my company? How do you value your company? I assume, like, how do you know how much it's worth? Yeah. Travis, what kind of company do you have? He's an electrical contractor. So how do you figure out how much your business is worth? This is not a quick and dirty answer, but there is an answer to it. The first thing you have to look at in a business very specifically is not only in the short form, it's not what sales it generates. It comes down to what profits. In other words, it's not how big the machine is, it's what it actually spits out or what it produces. So the very first thing you have to look at is it has nothing to do with sales. It has everything to do with profits. Think about it this way, Travis. If I'm coming to look at your business, I'm going to come look at it and I'm going to look at it and say, okay, if I'm going to take on debt to buy Travis's company, this electrical contractor in Wisconsin, if I'm going to take on debt, I got to know that it produces enough profit to cover that debt payment. So if it is producing $120,000 a year of profit, then it is $10,000 a month is what it's producing. So if my loan to buy Travis's company is more than that, that's not a good position for me to be in. In other words, the payment, the debt payment is far more than the actual profit I'm making. So that's one aspect. You got to look and say, how long do I want to pay for Travis's company? Do I want to pay for it for 10 years? Do I want to pay for it for 20 years? No, I don't. I want to get some sort of return on investment. So I'm going to look at probably a number of years that I feel comfortable that I'm going to pay for Travis's company. So if Travis's company produces $10,000 a month, and that's $120,000 a year, and I'm willing to pay for 5 years on that, then that company's worth about $600,000. And so in terms of the value of your company, it's what it produces. Now there's another kind of overlay of all this, and it is how important you are to the business, Travis. If I come into your business and have a look at it, and I can see that you are the most important person there, you're the one that makes everything runs through you, or they kind of say the hub of the wheel, right? If everything flows into you, then how am I going to replace you? I either have to hire you, or I have to spend a large amount of time with you learning all of your systems itself. So that's what we call a very people-dependent company, that maybe it's not only you, Travis, but also, let's say, a foreman of some sort, or maybe it's your administrative individual. Maybe that's the individual that's key. If your business is run because of an individual and its failure or success is based only primarily on an individual, then that business is worth less to me, because it's essentially, I'm not you, I can't be you. However, if I look at it the other side, and the other side is that you have memorialized, that's the word we're going to say, memorialize all of your systems in your business, the system for sales, the system for collections, the system for doing the actual work, the system for managing overhead. If those are all documented and I can come in and have a look, and it's easy to replace you by putting somebody else in and just taking over the systems, that business is worth far more to me, because I know that it has been systematically structured to make that $10,000 a month. So the answer isn't cut and dry, but to give you a good idea, Travis, it is, what does it produce on a regular basis? Not highs, not lows. What does it produce on a regular basis? And you can kind of look at an average of the last 3 years. So what has it produced on a regular basis on average over the last 3 years? Take that number, and then you kind of look at it and say, what's the multiplier? If it's heavily people dependent, where I'm buying you, or I need you there and everything runs through you, essentially, I'm only going to pay somewhere between 2 to 3 times what it's producing. So it's producing $100,000 a year, but it's up and down all over the place, and it's because of you, Travis. Not to be repetitive, but that business is worth $200,000 to $300,000. If I walk into that same business and it's steadily producing that same $100,000 in terms of profit, and I can come in and take over the helm and no issue whatsoever, and I don't need Travis there anymore because he's documented all and memorialized all his systems, I'm going to pay 5 to 7 times that same on that same business. So what it spits out, and are you people dependent or systems dependent, has a big impact on the value of that company. I hope that answers your question.